Hey y'all, if you seeing this, surprise! Welcome to my podcast. Welcome to Healing Not Healed. And I know y'all probably like, what's going on with this girl? She started all these YouTube channels out of nowhere. She been posting these tarot videos because, babes, I'm on the road to 1 mil. And I want 1 million followers and I want $1 million and I want to be a millionaire all by next year. It might not happen next year, but who knows? The God I serve is a God that's capable of all. With God, nothing is impossible. So who knows? Maybe I will be, no, not maybe, I will be a millionaire before 2024 ends. Anyway, I started this podcast because I've been on a healing journey. Some of y'all may or may not know, but I've been on a healing journey since 2016. And like I don't really like talk and go too much in depth about my healing journey, but I mean I do TikTok. I do content on TikTok. I'm a tarot reader. I work in the healthcare field. I do a lot of different things, but healing is like it brings everything full center for me. And I just feel like healing is what is going to make the ultimate change in the world. Like the world is the way it is because people will not heal, because people are toxic and filled with generational trauma and just so much other things. There's a lot of deconstructioning of the mind that us as a society needs to go through. And I feel like every person needs to go through this. But because I'm only one person, I can't really change people. But I'm gonna be giving my unsolicited advice here. So if you tap into my podcast, you're a real one. We're gonna be on big screens one day, but we starting from the bottom. But we here, and that's all that matters. But today, it's gonna be episode 1, and it's gonna be called Reasons Why We Must Heal. And this is gonna be dedicated to a patient that I had last week. And I was gonna get on TikTok and share this story, but I'm like, you know what? Nah, I need a podcast. I need to start making videos because for one, I have ADHD and I talk a lot. So a podcast is perfect for me. I could talk about all the stuff that be running through my head. I could just drop it right here with y'all. But yeah, this first episode is dedicated to my patient that I had last week. And because of HIPAA and because I love my job, I cannot disclose her name. But so we will make up a name in honor of her because she is an older woman. She is 86 years old, and she also has some memory loss, maybe some early dementia, but wasn't that progressed to where like she didn't know who she was or anything or understand. Like she still understand it's 2024 and she know who she is and she know her life story because she shared it with me, and I'm going to share it with y'all. And I hope that this story really encourages you to heal. Like we really had to heal, y'all. And it's not even about us, because some of the time it be stuff that's not from us that needs to heal. Like I don't know if y'all have ever studied DNA. I've never really studied DNA that much, but I have heard of people that have studied DNA and seen that some of the stuff that, like some stuff you'll be afraid of or you'll have a phobia of, it's not you, it's in your DNA, and it's actually generational trauma that's inside your DNA. So you might be experiencing hurt and pain that's not from you, but from ancestors that you never even knew. Like that's how deep healing goes. But a lot of people don't know that. But anyway, we're going to get into this story about my patient that she told me. And we're going to be using the name Mary. This is not her real name, but we're going to call her Mary. So I had a patient at work and her name was Mary. And I had took her to the bathroom because, as y'all know, I'm a CNA. So yes, I wipe butts for a living, but it's a very honorable job and it pays pretty good. Thank you. But anyway, I was taking Mary to the bathroom, y'all, and I was in the room with Mary for like an hour, y'all. But I really have a special place in my heart for older people because my first CNA job, I worked on a dementia and Alzheimer's unit, and it was the most rewarding job I ever had, ever. So old people and babies really have a special place in my heart, like near and dear to me. Like, yeah. But anyway, I had took Miss Mary to the bathroom or whatever. I don't know how, but she ended up telling me, and she was just like, I always wonder why my life just had to be the way it was. Like, I had such a rough life and I never would understand why. So we got on the topic and we started talking. I had asked her, where she's from, and she's like, "Oh, I'm from Kansas." She grew up in Lawrence. Um, Mary was a child. She was child number three. Her parents had 8 kids, and Mary's dad was a blind man. He was blind, but he became blind in the war. Okay, so rewind. Try to stay with me because I do have ADHD, like I said. But Mary is 86 years old. Okay. Her father used to be in the military. I think the army, I want to say. I don't know which branch exactly, but her father was in the military. And he served in one of the wars, and he ended up, something happened to him to where he became blind. And when he became blind, they like dishonorable discharged him, I think. And she said that the government, she said, they took really good care of him after he went blind. They got them a house. They got him set up to where he had like a healthcare aide, and he had somebody to help him around the house. He got to go to blind school. So he was really good. Like, she said, the government, they took really good care of him. But Mary said one day her dad was downstairs somewhere, and he was doing something. I think she said they were in a garage, and she said Mary and one of her sisters were playing in the garage, and her dad was on the other side. But she said once her dad became blind, his senses picked up like 10 times more than what they used to be. And when his senses picked up, basically, she said her and her sister was having a conversation, and she thought they were whispering. But I guess Mary's dad overheard what her sister said, and the sister told Mary, "Did you see mama in the bed with..." Okay, let me rewind. We gotta go back. So Mary said they had like a yard man and a helper. Okay, so there's a yard man, and then there's a helper that's like maybe like a health aide that can help him around the house. But the yard man, he just strictly did yard work. So Mary and her sister are in the garage, and her dad is on the other side of the garage fixing something. So Mary says her sister like whispers in her ear, was like, "Mary, did you see mama in the bed with the yard man?" And Mary just tried to ignore it, and her sister kind of like repeated it. And they went on about playing, but they never knew that they daddy heard them when they said it. So the daddy, he over there, Mary said she wasn't paying attention, but she said daddy was over there doing something, but she didn't know what he was doing. So after she said that, I guess the daddy, he stopped doing what he was doing, and he started sharpening a knife. The yard man and Mary's mom is in the house. They in the garage. So he's sharpening the object, and Mary's mom and the yard man is in the house. The yard man is doing something else. The other aide is like in the kitchen, but the mom is in the house, like in the front door, and the yard man is up there too. So I guess the dad, whenever he was done, the daddy told the girls to stay there, and but they seen their daddy with like a sharp object, and he was heading to the house, to like the front door, to where the mama was standing in the door. So I guess the daddy, he went up to the door, and he was trying to stab their mama, but he didn't stab the mama. He ended up trying to, like, he ended up cutting the yard man, I guess, basically. But the yard man instantly, like, he got so upset with the husband for doing that, even though, like, who would not be upset? I'm blind, I went to war, I done been in blind school, and my wife, 8 kids, is cheating on me with the yard man that's supposed to be helping. Heck yeah, I would have been mad too. So I don't think the husband was wrong. But so when he got up there or whatever, well, of course he was wrong, but like I can understand, like, out of anger. Like, sometimes you do stuff you don't be thinking, you just be angry in a moment. So that's what he did. He went up there, and he tried to stab or whatever. He ended up getting the yard man. But the yard man, she said the yard man ended up packing up their mom, driving her from Lawrence, Kansas, all the way to California, across the country. She never seen her mom anymore after that. But I think they might have, like, she didn't really say too much about her mom, but she said that was the last bit she seen of her mom. But after this is where the part in Mary's story where it starts to get really sad. So pay attention. So after that stuff happened, her mom went away. Mind y'all, her daddy is blind. So the mom was like, she was like, doing like carrying more of the, physical weight of the kids, and making sure that, like, they're in order and all that because of the daddy being blind. So now that she left and she went to California, it's just the blind daddy and the 8 kids. So after that, Mary said they ended up having to go to an orphanage and they all got split up. But the daddy, he ended up coming back to get them out of the orphanage after the daddy. So okay, I don't know the timeline, y'all. Like I said, Mary had a little bit of memory loss, so I was just trying to keep up. So time went by, whatever. The kids is in the orphanage. They split up. So fast forward, daddy gets married. He has the new wife, and daddy goes back to the orphanage to get the kids and bring the kids with the new wife. So Mary said they was really excited because they didn't like the orphanage. They was split up. A lot of them was over here and over there. And she said they got a chance to be back under one roof. So she was grateful and she was happy for that. At this at this time, Mary's like, she's like maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, one of them. She didn't really tell me her age, but I know she said she was really young. But she said she was really happy, but she said, and this is why I say we must heal. Because at this part of the story, Mary started telling me how dumb and stupid she was. And I had to reassure her that, like, Mary, you was only a child. You was a child. So I don't feel like, I really tried to tell her, not to be so hard on herself, because as kids, you're a minor and you don't know any better. You only know what the adults around you tell you. So she said once they moved in, I guess the woman that their daddy married, she ended up having an older son. And she said at night the son, he would grape her from the time she was 5 all the way up until she was like 15. So I can see why Mary felt like she had a hard life. But we gonna go on because this her stepmom son is not the only person that raped her. And yeah, I don't that's like a really kind of like a little trigger for me, because I've dealt with SA in the past, and to know that that happened to her, it broke my heart. And she was just saying like how she just has a really hard time trusting men, and she never liked men because all men ever did was grape her. Okay, so now we're past that. So fast forward, Mary ends up being a little older. I can't say. I think the daddy ended up divorcing her and he got another wife, and then the second wife he stayed with for a long time, and that ended up being the stepmom that stayed around until she like was done with schooling and all that stuff. So fast forward, Mary is like, we're gonna fast forward to 15, from 5 to 15. So I know I'm skipping some, but just try to follow the story. I'm telling it the best I can, again, from a patient that has memory loss. So Mary tells me that they moved, um I think Arkansas, or she had to go to Arkansas. I don't know. I think they moved to Arkansas, or they might have still been in Kansas. But all I know is Mary said that, she was about in 10th grade. She was going to a Catholic school for like 2 years, sophomore year. And she said one day her and her sister were walking somewhere. Yeah, they did move. They actually moved to Fort Worth, Kansas, I think. I don't know. She said it was on an army base. But she said she was walking home from school one day and a soldier snatched her off the street and raped her in the car. But this time when she got raped, Mary was of age and she actually fell pregnant. But Mary didn't know she was pregnant. So as time is going by, this is like her senior year, because I think she said she was only 15. She's only like 15. Yeah, she was 15. And she said she would go to the bathroom and she would always be throwing up and she just wasn't feeling good. And she said she just kept getting fatter and fatter. And mind you, her dad is blind. So she's like telling her daddy, like, Daddy, I'm getting bigger. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And at this time, like, and this is why I say it's very important for us to educate our kids about SMECs at an early age. And it doesn't even have to be in vivid description, but at least know your kid, let your kids know safe touches, not safe touches, because they kept it so hush hush. It was so hush hush back in the day that Mary didn't even know that she was pregnant. She didn't even know what SMECS was until like later on in life. She never knew what it was until, until actually she got of age and she, got married and started having kids. She realized that I was raped. I was sexually violated multiple times. I was sexually violated to a point to where a child came out of that situation. So like I'm telling y'all, so Mary don't know what's going on with her, y'all. She just think, she just getting bigger, she's getting fatter, she's sick all the time. Mind you, Mary have a stepmom, and I'm sure Mary's stepmom noticed this. I can't really say the dad because he was blind, but I know for a fact her stepmom knew what's going on with her. But again, they ignored it and stuff or whatever. So one day, Mary comes home and she said she went to a Catholic school and she was the only color girl there. And she said nobody ever spoke to her at this school. No, when she was going out to go throw up out of class and leaving class, she said nobody ever checked on her, nobody ever talked to her, nobody ever spoke a word to her. So Mary came home one day and she's complaining to her daddy, and her daddy's just like, nothing wrong with you, but go up to the doctor if that's gonna make you feel better. So I guess there was a doctor close by in the neighborhood, and Mary goes to the doctor, and the doctor goes, Mary, are you pregnant? And Mary don't even know like what that is, and she's just like, and the doctor confirms it's like, Mary, you're pregnant. That's why your stomach is so big. That's why you've been sick. That's why you haven't been feeling well. Oh, my ears is ringing, y'all. So after that happens, they call the phone, they call the house and let Mary's parents know. Mary said they didn't tell her nothing. They just got her packed up and they sent her off on a train by herself. She had to go travel all the way to Baton Rouge. Um, I guess she had family down there, and she's just like, when she was on the train, she was looking so lost, and she said you could hear the people saying like, she's just a baby, she's just a baby. Can y'all imagine being 15 years old, being raped by a soldier, and then becoming pregnant, and not even knowing that you're pregnant because you don't even know what SMEX is, and then having to go get on your very first train on your own? Yeah. So they put her on a train. She goes to Baton Rouge, and she's just like, she had to catch a few trains. And, once she got to Louisiana, she had to go down there. And she said when she got off the train, it was a light skinned lady that met her there at the train station, picked her up, and took her straight to the hospital, where she had to stay at this hospital until she gave birth. She said she stayed in the hospital for about 5 or 6 months. So back in the day, they used to have these things where it's called like a maternity ward. And I guess like maybe for underage women that, would get pregnant because of situations like this, and they didn't want people to know, they would send their kids away and keep them there until they get birth. So Mary stayed there until she gave birth. She ended up giving birth to a baby boy. And her grandmother she was down there with said that she wanted the baby,